Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to StorySLAM, baby. How's everybody doing? It's freezing this week, so I really appreciate you coming out. I know how hard it is, especially in this freezing cold. Welcome to our first StorySLAM of 2026. I'm Jennifer Cambris, Director of Production and Special Projects here at Montclair Film. The bar is open tonight. Please feel free to go get some concessions while I'm making some announcements and during the deliberation after the storytellers finish up. A few announcements before tonight's event. We wanted to take a moment so that you know some of our upcoming events that are happening at Montclair Film. On February 11th, we have a special screening of the #1 Bus Chronicles, followed by a Q&A with director Joel Katz at the Claridge. Our monthly filmmaker meetup, Real Thursdays, which have been wildly popular. Has anybody gone to any of those? Nice. All right, I'm glad. We were completely at capacity last month with 100 people in this room. It's a networking event that will be taking place on February 12th at Cinema 505. On February 13th, we have a 40th anniversary screening of Pretty in Pink. Also, I knew you guys would be a fan of that. Also on February 13th, we start our new series. This was actually suggested to us by one of our managers at the Bellevue and the Claridge. It's going to be called B-Sides at the Bellevue. These will be late night screenings of cult classics paired with performances and community partners. We're going to start with True Romance, which is perfect for Valentine's Day. On February 15th, we begin another new series, Lives Remembered, Japanese cinematic masterpieces featuring pre- and post-film discussions with Gerard and Salem and Dr. Anne Giblin-Gada, and the first film will be called Ikiru. Oscar nominations were announced last week. I don't know if you guys saw our social media with Kareem and Casey, our favorite marketing duo. We had a lot of the Oscar nominations at our festival this past fall. If you missed seeing some of the films in October on the big screen, we're going to be starting our 4-year consideration series on February 6th, bringing back the best films from last year at the Claridge and the Bellevue. Our summer camp series, our summer camp classes will open for registration on February 20th. Make sure you sign up soon because classes do fill up quickly. Thank you for all the Montclair Film members here tonight. Can I get a raise a hand if you're a member of Montclair Film? Awesome, love to see that. Our members receive discounts on tickets to the festival, the Claridge, the Bellevue, along with so many other perks, and you'll be helping to support the work that we do all year long. We have just updated our website, so you can find information and buy tickets for all of our theaters and events in one place, montclairfilm.org. Be sure to sign up for our emails and follow us on social media to make sure you're the first to know about great upcoming events. Please note our fire exits on your left and right, and our restrooms are on your left and outside the door. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to your host for this evening, Duncan Miller. He is our storytelling teacher and coach here at Montclair Film. Duncan is a former actor and improviser who has performed with the Second City and Improv Olympic in Chicago. After performing in theater, short films, and festivals in New York City, Chicago, and Baltimore, he earned his master's in education. Currently, he is an academic dean at North Star Academy in Newark, helping the next generation of storytellers. Please welcome Duncan Miller.
Thanks, everybody. Good evening. Thank you, Jennifer, that introduction. I see a lot of new faces. Raise your hand if you've never been here or to a StorySLAM before. All right, members, let's welcome them. Come on, give it up. Welcome to your first StorySLAM. Thank you for being here tonight. It is the first of 2026, as Jennifer said. So this is where I would usually insert a very politically neutral, generally pleasing joke that would off-put no one. Or maybe a winter storm anecdote? No? No, we're not doing that. It's too soon. I agree. What we will do is focus on this month. It's almost February, but January is a time of new beginnings. January is a time of letting go, resetting, maybe setting a personal goal, a personal best. Or maybe you just want to shed those crazy gifts that your mother gave you for Christmas. I never told you I like this stuff. Why do you keep giving it to me? That's what I'll be doing. Before we dive in, we want to make sure we know who's really in charge. We have 3 judges sitting here in our second row, and they will help us with our friendly competition. Storytellers, swag is on the line. First place gets a year membership, but everybody gets some swag for our first, second, and third place winners. And we're very excited to have these industry professionals and community members who are going to guide us through our wonderful, exciting competition. There's a great energy in the room already. Thank you for being here. Let's meet our judges, and then we'll dive into our stories. First up, on the end here, we have Amelie Zinn. Let's give it up for Amelie. Amelie's enjoyed a long career in entertainment. She has led the PR campaigns for film, TV, music, and sports content across a variety of platforms. She began her career at CBS and Fox Home Video and introduced original content for the Major League Baseball, National Basketball Association, and a wide range of personalities from Ray Bradbury to Mickey Mantle. She then launched the first made-for-cable TV movies for USA Network, brought CMT and Nickelodeon to the global marketplace. She was first introduced to The Moth, where she worked with Andy Cohen at a small cable network called Trio, where they produced the first televised program of the original storytelling series. Amelie later went on to lead communications at Bravo, where she launched several iconic award-winning franchises, including The Real Housewives, Project Runway, and Top Chef. And then at Travel Channel, she balanced the storytelling of Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations with the investigations of The Ghost Adventures. Amelie took a hiatus from entertainment to lead external global corporate communications for Godiva. The sweetest part of that job was launching the Lady Godiva Initiative, the chocolatier's signature social impact initiative supporting women empowerment. Today, Amelie runs her own strategic communications consultancy from Montclair and tries to play as much pickleball as she can. Give it up for Amelie. In the middle, we have Evan Dickerson. Let's give it up for Evan. Welcome. Evan is an educator, writer, and filmmaker with over 10 years of experience in film education and curriculum development. He previously served as curriculum coordinator and instructor here at Montclair Film, where he helped design and expand the organization's educational programming. Evan currently teaches video production, film analysis, and creative writing at Nutley High School, where he emphasizes storytelling and creativity beyond the walls of the classroom. In 2023, he wrote The Farm Fatale, an interactive forensic murder mystery meant to serve an educational simulation for criminal justice students. His writing students have gone on to publish pieces with Bottle Cap Features and the Red Wheelbarrow Poet Society. He also runs the school's literary magazine, which continues to garner accolades across Essex County. In light of his work at Nutley High School, he was named the Governor's Educator of the Year for 25-26. Congratulations. His professional film experience includes writing and story editing, Splits Ends, Disarray Days, production management, Good Friday, script supervision, canned, and acting in Marijuana Minutes. He holds a degree in creative writing from Fairleigh Dickinson and degrees in filmmaking, English, and teaching from Montclair State University, where he won the 2014 Award for Excellence in Screenwriting. Give it up for Evan. You must be exhausted. Our third and final judge on the end is Trisha Haggerty-Wenz. Let's give it up for Trisha. And she is the not so new, but still new, executive director here at Montclair Film. Yeah, front row is on fire. After 34 years of living in other places, she's thrilled to be back here in her home state of New Jersey, and is equally thrilled to be part of such a creative and hardworking team here at Montclair Film. Previously, Trisha served as a director of development for Real Art Ways in Hartford, Connecticut. She worked as the leading fundraising efforts in a building acquisition and expansion project. Prior to that, she founded and ran nonprofit Safe Harbors of the Hudson in Newburgh, and she led a multi-million-dollar development project that included renovation of a historic building, the creation of Newburgh's first contemporary arts gallery, the restoration of the historic Ritz Theater, and live arts programming while providing supportive and affordable housing for 128 adults. Although not wanting to brag, Trisha could possibly be the queen of regifting, enjoys a good Yankee swap that includes a bit of cash on the line. Let's give it up for Trisha. All right. Now that we know who's in charge, storytellers, here are the rules of engagement for this evening. You will have 6 minutes for your story. The illustrious Jennifer here in the front will be your timekeeper. She'll give you a green card when you are halfway through, 3 minutes. Your yellow card, you have 1 minute left. A red card means you have hit 6 minutes. Please wrap up your story. We have a rubric we've used the past couple storytelling events, and the 3 criteria are overall presentation, story dynamics, and theme. There is no intermission tonight, so strap in, buckle up. The theme is regifting, trash or treasure, letting it go. We're about to take a journey into everyone's interpretation of what is a gift. Let's give it up for our first storyteller for the night. This is Lori Lefevre. Come on up, Lori.
Yes, that's lovely. Once upon a time, on a crisp and clear November morning, while preparing my husband's daily cup of joe, he proclaims, "I'm not happy, it's not working, I'm moving out." 25 years. Thanksgiving Day, he's gone. Discarded for a newer model, 30 years my junior, I am standing at the precipice looking at the barrel of my 60th year, and I am left alone with a confused, frightened 13-year-old girl in a house that I hate, smack in the middle of godforsaken New Jersey. Gobble freaking gobble. That's not really what the story's about. I have always loved to work. And I had so many wacky jobs, but there was one job that I really loved. And I worked for a swanky giftware company on Fifth Avenue in New York City for almost 20 years. I worked for these two fabulous men, Paul and Travis, who were partners in business and in life. And I learned so much from them. They taught me about showing gratitude for a job well done. They were always leaving tickets to the hottest Broadway show or exquisite bottles of perfume from Bergdorf's on my desk, just to show me how much they appreciated me. But it was Travis, my boss, who left me with a lifelong obsession. Because of him, I have the greatest respect and love for a good pencil. Every morning, he would make a to-do list. I do that still to this day. And we always knew that the day was going to start and we were going to get tons of work when we heard the sound of the Cadillac of electric pencil sharpeners revving its engine. The Hunt Boston Model 17 would snap us to attention. We hated that sound. Paul and Travis decided to retire after a bunch of years, and they left all of us to carry on till the 2008 recession hit. The showroom that we had loved and served for all those years was dead. As we packed everything up and sold everything off, the gang decided to bequeath me with that sharpener. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but in their words, they said, "Travis always loved you best." But that's not really what this story's about. 3 months after the husband walks out, the pandemic starts, and along with it, every single thing in my house breaks down. First, the microwave dies. Then the washer stops washing. The dryer stops drying. Keys break off in locks. Tiles need to be chiseled from backsplashes. And for the first time in 25 years, I'm handymanless. I make Google and YouTube my new BFFs. Together, they show me what to do, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself until one day I insert my pencil into the Hunt Boston, and I am greeted with, eh. I pull that pencil out of there like it burnt my flesh. I try again. Eh. Oh, no. Oh, this can't be. Three's a charm. Eh. And I cry. And I cry more. And I cry even harder than when he left. This sharpener has been part of my life for 31 years. I can't live without it. I go to Google. Google hooks me up with YouTube, and what do you know? There's a video that shows me how to repair a 1990s Hunt Boston Model 17 electric sharpener. It tells me all I need is a new gear, a little plastic piece that I can get off my pandemic dealer of all dealers, Amazon. And for $7, I hit her up for a fix. Day after day, I stalk my mail carrier until that envelope arrives. I rip it open, I find my phone, I turn on the bookmark video. There's a nice man talking to me, but I can only see his hands. His calm, smooth voice directs me to open up that antique machine. He gets me through it. Hey, it's kind of easy. Now it's time to get the gear in. I have to stick my COVID chubby fingers into a very small chamber, right? And I get behind it a little, and I'm pushing it. I got to push it in to hear it pop. I push, pop, it's off. Now I got to click the new one in. I get it in, and I get it around that silvery thing that sharpens all the pencils. And I push, and I click. It's in. Oh, my God, I am Wonder Woman. I put it back together. I plug Travis's sharpener, and armed with a brand new Ticonderoga number 2, I insert. Wait, what? Maybe I should call someone. That teacher guy next door, he's got skinny fingers. What about the construction guy across the street? You know, I could call that handyman, right, that used to live here. My God, what am I thinking? A man is going to tell me it's too old and not worth fixing. Trash it. Just buy a new one. Oh, no, not this time, bucko. I stop. I breathe. I start the video again. Oh, there's my man. He understands fixing. He knows I can do it. I open it up, pry it off, lay the new gear along the backside, push to click, push, nothing. I jam that chubby digit back up in there, push, click. I gently close it. I say a prayer. I slowly insert another Ticonderoga and hallelujah. Hallelujah. I sharpen 2 more just in case. And I cry. And I cry. And I cry some more because I resurrected that sharpener. And I brought back a time in my life when I was valued and powerful. New does not mean better. Old does not mean it doesn't work anymore. You know, sometimes all anything really needs is a loving and persistent change of a gear. And that's what my story's about.
All right, keep it going for Lori Lefevre. Great way to start. The question is, who will be regifted that pencil sharpener? It's coming with you. It's only fitting. Well done. I feel like every time I look at these YouTube videos, though, it's always like somebody who is very helpful, and then their cat comes in. It's like, oh, my silly cat's here. I was like, my water is leaking out of the bathtub. I need help. It's like, silly Mittens. Thanks, Mittens. All right. Thank you. What a great start. Let's keep it going. This is Mary Beth Thoreau. Come on up, Mary Beth. Coming from the back.
Sometimes someone gives you something, and they might not even realize they've given it to you. It might be something said in passing that really stays with you, or a warm smile that helps you through a hard day. In my case, it was a brain, because it turns out that I have autism and ADHD, but I didn't realize that until a little over a year ago. And so that means that I spent 38 years of my life not understanding the brain that I have. But there were signs. As a kid, we had a cat. She was a gray calico cat named Smokey. And I could always relate to her because she was the runt of the litter. And she still loved to sunbathe. And she would sprawl out on a patch of warm sun on the carpet. And I'd say to her, Smokey, you don't know how good you have it. That you get to stay here all day. You don't know what it's like to go to elementary school. And I didn't talk a lot as a kid. And in 3rd grade, my teacher said to my mom, I was standing right there, and she said, Mary Beth doesn't say much, but you can tell there's a lot going on up there. And there was. There was. So flash forward 30 some odd years, and by this time I have 2 children. And I don't know if you know this about parenting, but it's very demanding. And so the ways in which someone might have been accommodating themselves all those years without realizing it, that suddenly becomes impossible. So what happened was, this was 2 summers ago, and I like to think of this as sort of the height of my not knowing. And it involves 2 things, my mother and a bag of salad. And so what was going on was that my husband was making a movie. He was executive producing and acting in an independent film. And so for about 2 weeks, from sunup to sundown, he was working and I was parenting. And I knew that I would need extra support during this time. But the mistake that I made was inviting my mother to come help. So a few days into my solo parenting, during those 2 weeks, my mom shows up. And I'm already at my wit's end. And she arrives carrying a bag of salad. She puts the salad on the table. A few minutes go by, and then she says, "So, should we have the salad?" And I understood this to mean that she wanted the salad. And I said, "You're gonna have to figure that out on your own." I'm losing my fucking mind. I don't normally talk like that to my mother. A few months later, I started seeing a new therapist. And in our first session, she said to me, "Mary Beth, I'm just curious. Have you ever considered that you might be neurodivergent?" And a beautiful thing happened, because as I started to consider it, it was this feeling of suddenly everything that had ever been confusing or hard or made me feel ashamed suddenly made sense. And that's been the biggest gift of my life, truly. So I got my brain from my parents, and I contributed to giving brains to 2 more people now. And not to discount the gift of a brain, because those are important too. But my hope of all hopes for my kids is that they will find self-understanding for themselves, and I will do everything I can to help them with that, because no one should have to go through life feeling ashamed of themselves. Thank you.
All right, keep it going for Mary Beth. And shout out to all the brain builders out there. Nice work. It is incredible. Also, the salad piece, you're gonna have to figure that out. They make kits. You just open. Just dump it in bag. Bowl, tongs. You're good. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's welcome to the stage our third storyteller. This is Danielle Sepulveris. Come on up, Danielle.
Thanks to everyone for coming out when it's 4 degrees outside, by the way. Okay. So I've learned that sometimes we're gifted a set of circumstances that puts us right where we're exactly supposed to be. We just don't always realize it in the moment, and then we do. So for me, when I graduated college, it felt like a lot of my friends were very easily obtaining these glossy, fantastic Sex and the City type jobs in Manhattan, and being an assistant buyer for a fashion catalog or an editorial assistant at Cosmopolitan magazine. And I had a job part-time in a windowless little office in Hackensack, New Jersey. And what I did there was I was recruiting people for focus groups. And I did not like this job, not because it was a bad job, but I felt like it was below me. I had just graduated college. I belonged in Manhattan, going to happy hour with my friends, but instead, every Wednesday through Sunday from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., I was in my little windowless office in Hackensack. And so one day, we were having difficulty filling a group of 20-something male smokers, and I decided, let me call a family friend of mine, Fred. What you need to know about Fred is that he and I grew up together, me, him, my brother, and his brother. Our parents have been best friends for a huge portion of their lives. We went on family vacations together, backyard barbecues, spent holidays together. Fred taught me how to fill a water balloon, not too much so it didn't explode in my face. He taught me to climb trees without breaking my neck. He showed me my very first horror movie at a very too young age and gave me nightmares for a month. Suffice to say, I love Fred. So I called Fred. Another thing to know about Fred, actually, is that at that point, he was 27 and had been in rehab twice. He was now clean and sober, and he was back in school, and he was studying graphic design. And so when I called him, he was delighted because he was spending all his money on school. So to make a couple $100 talking about smoking, which was his one remaining vice, was kind of a perfect way to spend an afternoon. So he did the group, loved it. We started talking more often, and because he kind of fell into an age group that was hard to fill, I kept calling him week after week and having him participate, salad dressing, shampoo, hand soap. And when you do a screener, not only do you ask them about their usage of products and, whether they're a student, where they live, how old they are, you always get to an articulation question at the end of the screener. And the articulation question will be something like, if you were to write a book, what would it be about? Describe it in detail. And that was one of the first questions I had to ask him. And he told me I would write about finding my way out. And I would write about finding a love for graphic design and learning that I didn't need to be where I was, that I had friends and family to support me, and that I could find my way back to a good life. And I would write it because I would want other people to know that they could find their way out too. And so through that articulation question and other articulation questions throughout the several months that I worked there, I learned that Fred wanted to go to Thailand with a romantic partner. He was saving for a condo. He was learning how to cook, specifically fish, bacala and Chilean sea bass, because he wanted to do the 7 fishes for our family's Italian Christmas Eve. So that was how we spent those months, and he was the best part of that job. So flash forward a year, he and I are now both full-time working. We have our own health insurance. And something funny happened one morning, and I went to call him. But before I could, my dad called me and said that Fred had died. I said I was going to cry. And when I thought about it, grief aside, I thought about how much I complained about that job and dragged my feet and was kicking and screaming and thought I deserved so much better, but that job gifted me so much time with him, so many conversations we never would have had. We were friends initially because our parents put us together, because they were friends, but I think that job brought us back together as adults, and we built our own friendship. And that's something that I'll carry with me the rest of my life, because I don't have him with me. And I still have the screener where he said that he would write a book so that other people would know that they could find their way out. And I'm devastated that he didn't, but I will always have him with me, and I will always be grateful for that job that I thought I was too good for.
All right, keep it going for Danielle. It's funny how people are there for seasons of our own lives. Not always for the long haul, but they serve that purpose. Tough job. I had a friend who did that same job at McCormick Spice Company. I grew up in Baltimore. That got me through my first year. I graduated in 2008, so right into that recession. Good time. So he got me through that first 6 months. $150 here and there. And if you like bugles, they only have a buffalo flavored one. Because of me. I ranked it high, very high. Love a bugle. All right, thank you, Danielle. That was beautiful. Let's keep it going. This is Angela Gray. Come on up, Angela.
Mother's Day is not exactly my favorite holiday. I'm a mom, yay! And I love my son. He is my heart, my favorite everything, my joy, my grace, and my karma. But Mother's Day has some layers involved because of past history, stuff that happened when I was married, after marriage, and some of the gifts that have come around have been rough. But the one thing that I always appreciated was school, because from daycare to elementary school, I got all these gifts that were crafted by my child, and I just ate it up because it's my bubs, my kid. And so I got palms and clay, palms and painted on construction paper, notes, drawings, palms on mugs, lots of palms, but palms. But I'm a big fan of palms, and my child. And so it was great because it was steady, it was something I could rely on, and it came. And I would very much, middle school, and then also, like no gifts, they don't care. Hunger Games, throw them to the wolves. But, it was something that was so appreciated because at home, outside of school, the ex, when married, after marriage, was kind of responsible for the gift for me, for my kid, and helping him. And so I am an amazing gift giver, if I can say that. I have a little bit of the talent. And I absolutely just adore giving gifts. I love looking for them. I love finding stuff. You said something obscure 4 years ago, and I remembered. And just like that joy, because there's so many unfun things in life. So and mail stinks and nothing fun comes there. So it's great to give good gifts, and I have a talent for it. The force is not strong with that one at all. So the thing is, whether there was clues, I don't need mind reading. I don't need you to be at my level of gift giving because it's my thing. And honestly, it's really about the thought that counts. It's not about cost, grandiose, any of that. And that message just was not received by the ex, thus the ex. So, anywho, so there was just I'm a simple girl, and that's what was to be relayed. I like superheroes. I like socks. I love Hello Kitty. I do. And when it comes, if you think of Forrest Gump and you think of Bubba, I'm the Bubba of socks. I like short socks, ankle socks, mid-level socks, fuzzy socks, athletic socks, patterned socks, socks on socks on socks. So anyway, but like I said, simple, just to be thought of. And so to go with that and to go with the ex, you would have thought I would have had a clue back in the day when we were in our early 20s, because for my 24th birthday, he got me a tattoo on his body of the only tattoo that was on my body. That was unique to me and had special meaning. And of course, I didn't just go out then that same day and get a new one because it was so well thought out. Yeah, that happened. But that would have been a clue. But I thought Mother's Day would be different. I hoped. And I would love to be able to gift to others gifts that maybe didn't really resonate with me and be able to pass it on. But you really can't pass on a mix of nothings, ones that are delayed in transit still, ones that have tracking numbers that have faded into oblivion. And like I said, it's about the thought. So unfortunately, being an afterthought is painful. So in a recent Mother's Day, my son, again, who knows me, who cares for me, who guards my heart, I have no expectations. I'm I've been weather worn. And no hope, no thoughts, we're good, conditioned. But my child, he let me sleep in. He had minimal ass. He came in and kissed my cheeks and my forehead. And then he brought lots of blankets and tucked me in like a burrito. And it was fantastic. Bake me up, baby. And it was beautiful. And I had the best day. 2 weeks later, talking to the ex, and my son is 12. And so we were commiserating about how he's not the best planner. He's not, sometimes he's, tomorrow I need this for this performance. So I need this for this gift for the party. I need this for whatever in the 11th hour. So the ex was like, oh yeah, 2 weeks ago when we were just, Mother's Day. And I'm like, And he said, well, he came to me a month before and he wanted to get you something that was Hello Kitty. And I told him that you had too much Hello Kitty stuff. Meow? There's no such thing. So then he told him to go back to the drawing board. But my child knows me. And then he said, and then he wanted to go to the mall or to the store the day before, and it was late, and I told him no. And I said, okay. And I was like, And he said, you know what? I needed to teach him a lesson. And I said, okay. So you wanted to teach our son a lesson by making sure that he did not have a gift to give his mother on Mother's Day. And he said, oh, shit. Oh, yeah. So I had a lump in the throat. My eyes were being hydrated with tears. And I protect myself because I'm prepared. I know this. I've been there. And I just let it cut me to the quick. And I don't do that. And it got past, my booby traps of protection, my moat with sharks with lasers, all the things. And I said to myself, girl, you know better. Why wish for? Why want for? Why hope for? You know better. And I do. And I should have known better probably. But what I do know is this. No matter what, no matter who, I would not gift not being thought of to anyone.
Let's keep it going for Angela Gray. Thank you, Angela. Find somebody who thinks about you. Also, Angela, I knew I liked you, but the socks thing? If I were to win the lottery and be very rich, there is one thing I would be wildly, disgustingly lavish with. A new pair of socks every day. No sock laundry. I finish the day, we throw those socks away. Fresh pack, new day. That's it. That's all I want. Fresh socks. All right. Thank you very much. Let's keep it going. This is Lydia DeSouza. Come on up, Lydia.
It's DeSouza, but that's okay. He did. So gift giving in my house is a pretty big deal. And that's probably because I have a 6 and 8-year-old. So any gift giving occasion is a really big deal in our house. I mean, I actually think that my kids, their love language is gift giving, like giving and receiving, which is really inconvenient for a single mom who's a writer and an actor because it's a really expensive love language. But I have a trick because my parents have given me a brilliant trick since when I was kids. And this is what we do. Anytime there's Christmas or a birthday, we go to the dollar store and I give them $5. And they have free reign of the dollar store, and they can buy whatever they want. And these kids are good. I mean, they are good. Like, they know how to pick out gifts like you, okay? They think about who they're giving, and they go and they search that dollar store inch by inch, and they find the exact thing that person wants. I mean, this year at Christmas, my son is like, I got the best gift for Grandpa. Grandpa's gonna love my gift. And he was like standing in front of him bouncing when my dad was opening it, and my dad opens and he's like, oh, it's just what I wanted, zip ties. And I was like, I knew it. I knew you would want zip ties because when we were at your house this summer, you had the curtains hanging up with the zip ties and you said they were your favorite thing, and then I found you zip ties. Best gift. Actually, my dad really does love zip ties, so he wasn't wrong. But anyway, for his birthday last year, he really wanted Pokemon cards. I mean, I do give my kids gifts that are not from the dollar store occasionally. And he really wanted Pokemon cards because it's a big thing in kindergarten that they play Pokemon. Yeah, you're nodding like you know what I'm talking about. I have no idea. I've never heard of Pokemon before in my life. So I Google it up, I research it, and I'm like, okay, this is what he needs. He needs a pack of 60 cards, and they sell these little starter packs. And I looked up the prices, and I found a good priced one, and I got him a 60-pack starter kit, and I got him a little Pokemon binder that he can put the little cards in and start his collection. So on his birthday, he wakes up and he gets those and he's like so excited. And he's like, oh, I got Pokemon cards. I can't wait to show Max. Oh my God, look at my Pokemon cards. And he's looking at him and he's putting them in his binder. And I'm like, yes, Mom, win. All right. And that night when he calls his dad, he's like, yeah, I'm Dad. Look, I got these Pokemon cards. They're amazing. And his dad's like, oh, you like Pokemon? And he's like, yeah. And Mom got me these Pokemon cards for my birthday. And he's like, oh, you want Pokemon cards for your birthday? Okay, I'll get you Pokemon cards for your birthday. And I would just like to point out right now, this is irrelevant, but he didn't know that he liked Pokemon and he didn't know that he wanted Pokemon cards, but whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. Anyway, back to the story. So my son goes and celebrates his birthday with his dad. And I get my phone call that night. And the first thing he says to me is, how come you got me bad Pokemon cards, Mom? Your cards didn't even have any that were 100. Dad got me Pokemon cards, and I have 3 cards that are over 100 points. And he gave me a Pikachu. What the? Pikachu! And that hurt. I mean, my son, it's always been about the love of giving, right? It's always been about the thought. It's the zip ties, right? But that hurt. And I realized in that moment, I mean, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but I am recently divorced, and I realize I'm never going to be able to compete with their dad economically because that's just not how the world works. And I happened to be in a play at the time, so I went to the play, and I was backstage, and I don't know why or what possessed me, but that little thing about the Pokemon cards seemed to break a dam inside of me. And it was like it had been battling against me. I couldn't let it go. And then all of a sudden, it just starts pouring out of me about how he had the trash can over my head, and he was gonna pour the trash on me, because that's what I deserved. I was trash. And how he threw my red wallet across the bedroom floor when I said no. And how he told me that I was worthless, and how I believed him that I was worthless, and how he had his right hand strangling me while he straddled me, and his left hand held a tray over my head because he was going to bash my face in, and how he threw me in the shower when I got drunk that one time on vacation, because how ugly is it to have a drunk wife? And I kept hearing his voice in my head telling me that you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not talented enough, and you're never gonna be enough, and the only good that you are is because you're married to me, and you're worthless without me. And I kept thinking about the time he told me he was gonna destroy me if I ever left him. He would take away everything I loved if I left him. And I thought maybe it was these stupid Pokemon cards that was the beginning of him taking away the only thing I had left, which was my kids. The next night, my kids were back with me, and they were sitting backstage, and one of the actors came up to me, and I had never really talked to him. I mean, he was one of the quiet types, and I didn't really have a scene with him, and his name's Michael Leverage, and he said, Lydia, and he was carrying this box, and he said, Lydia, I heard what you said yesterday. I have this collection of Pokemon cards. My brother and I actually collected Pokemon cards when we were little, and then my dad threw them away. And when I was 20, I realized I can collect them on my own, so I collected these Pokemon cards, but I haven't played with them for years. I never look at them, and I'd really like to give them to your son. Would that be okay? And I just was like, why would you want to give your whole collection to a 6-year-old boy? I said, yeah, I mean, Baz would be excited. So he pulled Baz aside, sat him down, and he said, hey, Baz, I have this Pokemon collection. I've been collecting it, but you know what? I never use them. I don't play with them, but I want to give them to someone who's really going to appreciate them, someone who's going to love them like I've loved them. And I heard from your mom that it was your birthday, and I was wondering if I could give you my Pokemon collection. Baz was like, yeah. Hey, Baz, I want to tell you one more thing. You have a really good mom. And she loves you so much. Baz, you have a really good mom. And when we got home that night, Baz stayed up. I mean, we were up to the wee hours of the night going through every single one of those cards. And there were 3 Pikachus, and there were cards worth 200 and 300 points. There were 1,500 cards in the entire deck. I had to buy Baz another Pokemon binder. And he was so excited. And yeah, sure, soon after his dad bought him another collection over 2,000 cards. But you know what? That is not even worth what Michael Leverage gave to my son that night. And he gave me an even better gift. Because he told my son I was a good mom. And for the first time, I believed it. And I know I'm out of time and I'm going to be disqualified, but I have one more thing to say. Michael Leverage couldn't be here tonight because he's performing in the city. But Michael, I told you I was going to send you this video and I was going to send you the story. He doesn't know what's in it. This is my gift to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. Wow. Thank you. Shall we take a breath together? Thank you for those of you in the audience who are good moms. We need you, we appreciate you. We don't always say it enough, but we often feel it and know it, so thank you. All right. Carl, I hope you're ready to follow up. This is Carl Kelsch. Welcome up. Carl to the stage.
So 10 years ago, I was working in a magazine where editors were constantly getting freebies sent to them, none with my name on it. I was a little too low on the masthead. But one time, a fashion editor regifted me his invitation to the Guggenheim's Young Collectors Gala. And this was specifically for me because he knew that I was a mega fan of the musical act that was performing, this quirky electronic artist I was obsessed with at the time named Grimes. I was so excited. Nothing about the evening of the gala went as planned. And looking back with hindsight, I have been left to wonder if my choices actually created a ripple effect that actually took and shifted our entire reality for the worse. More on this theory later. First thing I noticed about the invite is the date. It was the same night as book club. Now, that might be a normal person would just cancel or make an excuse, but my book club was unique. There were just 3 of us, so my absence would be conspicuous. Also, we were 3 good friends who, we met at a former job that we all worked together, and we had crazy schedules. So when we settled on a night for book club, it was sacrosanct. So I figured, okay, book club starts around 6:30. I'll be there. I can get out of there by 8:30. And, the gala starts at 8. It'll be fine. I get over to my friend Wendy's house. She's hosting, and she makes us dinner each time. Dinner's a little bit behind, but we're standing there in the kitchen sipping wine, catching up. I think we finally get seated around a little after 7. And then I realized the next problem is the book that we picked. Now, if you were an adventurous reader back in 2015, you might have read a infamously punishing and downbeat novel called A Little Life. There's some people here, we can trauma bond over it afterwards. Well, this 720-page book, it's not really conducive to light, breezy discussion. So here we were. I actually love the book, so I'm losing track of time because I'm sitting there trying to defend it to my friends who decided that it was overwritten and overhyped. And I finally get out of there at 9 o'clock. I take a cab up towards the Guggenheim, and as I hit an unexpected bubble of traffic, I look at the invite. It says, non-transferable. Now it feels like fate itself is trying to keep me from seeing Grimes. And if you don't know her music, that's fine. She was never really played on the radio that much. She was kind of a critic's darling, but I fell in love with her actually because I watched some of her YouTube interviews. Now, she had this unfiltered, unpretentious way of speaking, and it was so not like the curated pop stars that she was up against. Okay, here's my impression of a Grimes interview. This is like almost verbatim. Like, one of my best shows was down in New Orleans. I was playing, and there was this guy on ecstasy up front, and he kept trying to take my keyboard. And like, I was playing the keyboard, and I'm like shouting, help, help, but everyone's just dancing. So then I'm like trying to kick him away in between playing bits of my song and shouting for help. It was fun. I get to the Guggenheim, and it's actually a little after 10. And there's actually no line, which is good. In fact, there's not even a checkpoint, people. Like, I could have walked into this gala without like the Regifted invitation in the first place. I go in there, and in the center of the rotunda, everybody knows the Guggenheim's big rotunda, there's a circular stage, and Grimes is in mid-performance. There's pumping colored lights. She's got her microphone in one hand. She's twiddling dials on her instruments on the other. She's got these two dancers. They're like hyping up the crowd, and it's thump, 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 and then the lights cut out. It turns out that I caught only the last like 10 seconds of Grimes's performance at the Guggenheim that night. I hung out for a little bit, and I could actually see her across the rotunda, and she was like mingling with the regular guests, like only Grimes would do. And I went home. Grimes went on to become famous, not for her music so much, but for dating a billionaire named Elon Musk. He was her date to the 2018 Met Gala. They ended up having 3 kids together. So basically, I have to look back at that night and wonder, what if I had made different choices? There's an alternate universe somewhere that is very different than the one we're living in. Okay. I need you to imagine it with me. I lie and I get out of book club and I go to the gala and I don't miss Grimes' set. I see her across the atrium and now I feel emboldened to go up and say hi to her. But I play it cool. I tell her I love the set, but I play it cool, and all of a sudden we're exchanging Instagram handles, and then we become best friends online. And when I find out she starts dating this guy named Elon, I Google him and I write her back very firmly, Grimes, I think this guy is bad news, and I think you deserve way better than him. And then this jilted, loveless version of Elon recedes slowly from public view. This is the version of Elon who realizes that money can't buy him every single thing that he wants. And he never has the gall to buy Twitter and influence an election. And all of us would be living in a very different reality than we are in now. So I apologize for my mistakes. I can say that even though I don't have a time machine and can go back and change that, I have to accept how it is. But I can say that our book club endured longer than their relationship. Thank you.
All right, give it up for Carl Kels. Thank you, Carl. We will accept your apology. Thank you. All right. Thank you. You've been an awesome audience so far. We have 3 more storytellers tonight. Let's welcome to the stage Julia Francis. Come on up, Julia.
Well, I have to say something. This is a challenge for me because English is my second language. And I don't believe in New Year resolutions, but I found, I think last year, that I have a real passion for storytelling. And being English being my second language really kind of like refrained me to do so, and here I am. This is my third time. I'm gonna have to read it because I can kind of say things in English like I probably would do in Spanish, but here I am. Neil Diamond. For years, I completely forgot he existed. I have said it before, and I'm gonna say this again tonight. It's strange how we forget things, right? Memory is selective. People, moments, places. We once stood in, songs we once knew by heart, and then one day, without warning, they come back into our lives. Not as a memories, but as an answers. Sometimes what we thought was long gone returns back as with a brand new meaning. One of those ordinary days, one of the last days when the weather was still okay, I went out for a walk downtown. I wandered through town just like to get some fresh air. No plan, no destination. And then when I saw it on the carriage, I see song, blue. I stopped it. That sounds familiar. Oh, right. It was a song that I really liked, but I totally forgot. Who was the singer? I didn't remember, and I have to look, and oh my goodness, it's Neil Diamond. And I remember thinking, why is there a movie with the name? It's like a musical? I have no clue what was the movie about. Okay, so again, suddenly I'm very curious, the way I am, I'm very curious, so I start researching. I even have a conversation with ChatGPT, I have to tell you, because again, I mean, I couldn't really understand, because back in the times I thought it was in the present tense, song, blue, and now I'm finding out that it's song, past tense, song, blue. And it was like quite interesting, really. You know, it was very, very deep, but I got it. So, again, I just play the song once and again. You know, I research, I play non-stop. So, again, I just couldn't stop listening, and I couldn't understand why I forgot the song so many years. So anyhow, I kept wondering, okay, how could a song that I love so much, right? I forgot, it just slip on my hands, disappears without a trace, right? So, but I listened more closely, and I realized something. Back then, I loved the song because of the music itself. That was a gift to my ears. At that time, I didn't understand English. We didn't have an instant translation, no lyrics popping up to my phone, because we had no phone, right? I didn't know what he was saying, and yet the music was powerful enough to carry me anyway. So when I reconnected with the song, I realized something else. For the first time, I actually understood the lyrics. What an unexpected gift from life. Back then, the sound and the music have carried me to an unknown paradise. But now, the words open a completely different world, one I have never been able to enter before. And that gift, all of it, the melody that once carried me without words, the lyrics that finally spoke to me. The sun that disappeared and returned remind me that life's best gifts aren't wrapped in paper or ribbons. Sometimes they are songs. They find you again just when you need them most. And the real magic, it wasn't just hearing the song again. It was finally understanding it. Sometimes a gift comes back to you, not just as a thing, but as a message. One you couldn't grasp before, one that waits until you are ready. It's like some mysteries of the universe. They are always there, but it can take years before you are ready to see them clearly. And when we finally are, they return to us, just like this song, just like this gift, waiting patiently until the moment is right. And I went to see the movie, and after I saw the movie, I had perfectly understood why Song Blue. And if you haven't seen that movie, I seriously recommend you to go and do it because it's an amazing movie. Thank you for listening to me.
All right, keep it going for Julia Francis. Thank you, Julia. If we could just make sure to tip her later for the plug for the Claridge movie across the street. I want to admit something publicly that I've never told a large group of people. I'm a Neil Diamond fan. Yeah. When I was younger, I was like edgier and like, I'm not, no way, not Neil Diamond, but I could bop to that. All right, thank you, Julia. Let's keep it going. This is Jennifer Scharf. Come on up, Jennifer.
I got dropped off at college in a garbage truck. Not the kind that drives around suburbia, more like one of those little golf cart things, but you get the idea. So my journey to Boston started on Long Island, where my older sister's best friend mother permitted me to sit in the trunk of her SUV. So knowing that I wasn't really wanted on this trip, I crawled in the back, the space that's usually reserved for dogs and muddy boots, and I made myself invisible and sat there completely silent the entire trip until we got to Boston. And when we got there, her mom was like, okay, bye-bye, like go away, end of the road for you. There's a train stop over here, just get yourself to your campus. So I dragged my duffel bag to a T-stop, and I hadn't ever been on a subway before, and I had no idea where I was going or what I was doing, and I just chose the outbound train, and somehow, some miracle, I actually got myself to this campus. And as I walked up to this campus, which was this prestigious women's college, dragging my duffel bag, I'm greeted by this like swarm of these beautiful blonde girls and all of these fancy cars and limousines pulling up, and I actually heard somebody say that they were a princess, like an actual princess. And I was like, oh, I am definitely out of my element here. It would be like Robert Smith from The Cure walking into the land of Lily Pulitzer. And I was standing there with my spiky hair and my beat up Doc Martens, and I must have looked like I was about to die because this really kind maintenance worker approached me and said, what's going on? Can I help you? Do you want to ride in my garbage cart to your dorm? And I was just so frazzled that I couldn't even think about being embarrassed. And I jumped in the front of the cart, and then he threw my bag in the back with all the recycling and the trash. And we started driving through the campus, and I'm looking at all of these beautiful sun-kissed girls waving to their parents goodbye and taking photos, and I just put my head down and I'm like, just don't look up and maybe nobody will notice this very unusual arrival to college. And so I get in the dorm and all the girls look the same. And there's like a code that I'm not understanding, and I'm thinking, they all look like they stepped out of this glossy magazine and something that I didn't subscribe to. So they're all making friends and chatting, and I'm just thinking, how am I going to actually fit in? And more importantly, how am I going to get the money to actually afford to fit in? And that's when Margaret from across the hall approached me. And she was this tall, model-esque, like perfect human being. And I'm thinking, this must be the princess. Why is the princess coming to talk to me? And she said, come into my room. I want to show you my shoe closet. I'm thinking, a shoe closet? A princess is showing me a shoe closet. And it's just filled top to bottom with all of these beautiful, brand new, pristine footwear. And if it was in a museum, the exhibit would be titled, Tell Me You're Rich Without Telling Me You're Rich. And there was a whole section dedicated to these LL Bean Bluchers. These shoes were all the rage, like in the late 80s. I couldn't believe my eyes. And then I couldn't believe it when she actually handed me a pair. And she said, you want to wear these for a while? And the smell of the leather was so intoxicating, it was making me dizzy. And I was like, what? What do you mean by that? Like, what's a while? Is that a day? Is that like a year? Is this forever? So I took the shoes and I put them on and I just started, breaking them in, running all around campus and parties. And I basically slept in these things. And just as they were like molding to my feet and really starting to feel like they were mine, Margaret asked for them back. And she was like, thank you so much for breaking in my shoes. I really, really hate the feeling of a brand new shoe. And I was like, oh, haha, yeah, you got it, bestie. Like I pretended I knew all along that's what was happening, as if I hadn't created this emotional bond with her Bluchers. And so I go to leave, and then she's like, do you want to break in another pair for me? And because I had zero self-respect, I was like, well, what you got? And she was like, these black, shiny G.H. Bass Region penny loafers. Now, these were a completely different animal. This was like the type of shoe you wear to a restaurant without checking the price on the menu, and I was like holding them like these sacred objects as I'm walking back to my dorm. And I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, and I'm thinking, this just doesn't feel right, And I'm getting in my head, and I'm like, I just feel like this is a psychological experiment at this point. And Margaret was high society. She should know that if you give something to somebody, you shouldn't ask for it back. That really wasn't, kosher. That wouldn't fly in Emily Post's etiquette book. Even I knew that, She was essentially forcing me to re-gift a gift back to herself in a better way that was more comfortable for her. So that's when I decided I wasn't going to give the loafers back. Margaret was gonna have to pry them off my cold, dead feet. Because I was doing the work. I was breaking them in. And at that point, it wasn't about the shoes. It was about fitting in and belonging, and I wasn't ready to give that back. And P.S., I still think regifting is taboo. Thank you.
All right, keep it going for Jennifer. The Royal Elite makes so much more sense now. They've never had a blister. Wow, crazy. All right, we have one final story to bring us home. Give it up for yourselves. You've been a fantastic audience on this frigid night. Our final storyteller for tonight is Farah Abdur Rahman. Come on up, Farah. She's coming from the back. Let's give her a minute. Keep the applause rolling.
I'm hoping that this is a safe space. Okay. The best gifts can't be wrapped, also known as Go Braless. Oh, I did a double, I didn't even realize that. Okay. Real gifts are intangible. Time, attention, forgiveness, friends and family, blah, blah, blah. This past holiday season, I gave myself the gift of making no New Year resolutions and absolutely no F's to give in 2026. New Year resolutions are for sissy optimists, people who want to better themselves. I'm done bettering myself. I've gotten to the age where people address me as ma'am. Young people and people who are clearly older than me. I'm closer to death than birth, it seems. I am fully cooked. When I was younger, I couldn't wait to get old so I could wear inappropriate amounts of blue eyeshadow and stop getting the lecherous gaze of men. I have obviously crossed the threshold of appearing younger than I am. So I have given up a lot of other things as a gift to myself this year. I noticed this transitioning in 2024. The summer of 2024 was logged as the hottest on record, and I went, wait for it, 8 days without a shower. Don't worry, I took a shower before coming here. 5 days ago. Oh, it's wintertime, so it's freezing outside. I could go a whole month. But that summer, that's when I realized that I have no F's to give. It was only until I couldn't stand the smell of myself that I decided, hey, today is a good day to shower. I grew up in a household like most of you where everything has to be clean and fresh going into the new year. And you definitely don't clean on New Year's Day, as tradition suggests cleaning on January 1st can sweep away good luck for the coming year. Well, this past New Year's Eve, I could care less. My gift to myself was, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And I felt free. I still have dishes in my sink from Christmas. '26 has started off great. This year, I have stopped actively trying to be attractive. I'm sorry. One, it's too exhausting. Lipstick, perfume, drawing on my eyebrows. And two, there are more women than men in the world, so there isn't much to choose from. Because for every one Denzel Washington, there are 10 Flavor Flavs. For my white sisters in the audience, that's like 10 Danny DeVitos. For one Chris Hemsworth. Unless, of course, Danny DeVito floats your boat. Last summer, I saw an older woman coming out of the bank who was clearly braless. I thought to myself, what a gift to swing free. And that's who I want to be in 2026. Clearly braless. Call me clearly braless. I mean, I see more men with boobs who could benefit from wearing a man's ear. I once refused to go out on a date with a guy whose boobs were bigger than mine. But I digress. This year in 2026 on my Zoom calls, I will be business up top and Winnie the Pooh on the bottom. Some of you already do this. If I forget and stand up, you get what you get. Which coincidentally happened last week. Luckily, I had on underwear. I'm tired of putting on pants. And underwear is highly overrated. That's the 2026 I have begun to establish. 2026, I just want to drink wild cherry Pepsi and slather insane amounts of butter and syrup on my pancakes with the crispy edges. Diabetes be damned. Pepsi is my weakness, and I will continue to drink it in copious amounts this year. In 2026, I do want to write more, film more, edit more, create more, but not to beat myself up if I don't. New Year resolutions can create pressure. I want to be pressure-free in 2026. The only thing I have to do in 2026, as I have done since 2012, is take care of my dog. In 2026, I'll try not to get angry when she eats my cat's vomit before I have a chance to clean it up. My cat's government name is Grace and Barack Obama Barry Bear Bear Tippy Tail. Bear Bear for short. My dog's name is Gidget Sweetheart, but I should have named her Gidget the Pimp, because for the past 14 years, she has had me out on a stroll at least 2 times a day like a prostitute. The second Friday of January is widely known as Quitter's Day, and January 17th is Ditch New Year's Resolutions Day. When I heard about this unofficial holiday, I literally chuckled out loud and said, suckers, as I sipped my perfectly chilled white cherry Pepsi. Less than 10% of people keep their resolutions for the new year. And it's not necessarily due to lack of motivation. It lies within the reactive mind. Quote, the part of the mind that stores past trauma and fuels stress, anxiety, self-doubt, and emotional triggers that unconsciously sabotage progress. People generally want to change, but the reactive mind exerts irrational impulses that subconsciously counteract positive decisions. See, I'm ahead of the curve. I didn't make any resolutions. You can't fail at something you didn't attempt. So, for you in the audience, I'm wishing you a great 2026. Resolutions or not. Shower or don't. Be like Winnie the Pooh on your Zoom calls. Drink wild cherry Pepsi. And ladies, go braless.
Yeah, let's keep it going for far as we close it out. Couldn't end on a better note. Let's give it up for all of our storytellers here tonight. You've been a fantastic audience. I'd like to invite our judges upstairs to deliberate. The bar is open. Please go engage with the storyteller. Say hi to your neighbors. Tell them or don't tell them your resolution. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, everybody. Thanks so much. All right, let's give it up for our judges as they head back in. And we'll get pictures with every single winner with the judge, and then the winner's picture, and then we'll do the whole group participant picture. So, Evan, you're up first. All right, let's go. Third place prize.
Okay, in third place, we're awarding a story that gave us a glimpse into a gift that we all, I think, want, but unfortunately didn't get. And that goes to Carl Kelsch.
All right, Carl, come on down. Congratulations, Carl.
That's amazing.
They're almost exactly the same height. Incredible. Carl, will you just stay up here? So we're going to come down here and we'll get a picture. Oh, that's even better. Lovely. All right. Emily, you up next?
Oh, sure.
Wonderful.
I want to make sure I get the name right.
I messed one up, so we'll forgive.
No, it's fine. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank everybody for sharing your stories, gifting us with your stories. They were all wonderful, and we really had a tough time, deciding. But the second place winner is Lydia D'Souza.
D'Souza! Woo! Come on down, Lydia.
And the one thing I will say is that I am in the process of getting rid of a bunch of cards that include Pokemon cards, so I know who to re-gift them to. So.
All right, congratulations, Lydia.
Thank you so much. All right, smile. You're welcome. Okay, this is the gift. I'm sorry. Thank you. Most importantly, yeah.
All right, Trisha's going to bring home our first place winner. There is a wood block next to you. Feel free to drum roll on that thing.
Hi, everybody. Thank you again. I want to echo Emily's comments, how great it is to have such a big crowd here on such a cold night. It is so much fun. Everyone's stories, in one way or another, moved us, made us laugh, and made us cry. So it's true, it's corny, but true. You're all winners for just having the bravery to come up here and share so much with us. But I'm here to present our first place winner, and that's Lori Lefevre.
All right, Lori, come on down. Congratulations, Lori.
Lori, your story had everything. It was regifting, it was funny, but what it really had was the proof of resiliency and hope. And thank you for sharing that with all of us.
Thank you.
First time I ever read a story. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, let's get all of our winners up there. We'll take one group picture. Judges, will you come join us for our winner's circle? Stay warm. Body heat helps in 4 degrees. There you go. Perfect. All right, can we get all of our storytellers up tonight as we give a round of applause for our winners? All storytellers to the front. We want to get one more picture. Winners, please stay up. We want a whole participant picture for tonight. Jennifer, come on down. All right, get cozy, bring it on in.
And Evan as well. And, judges too.
Yeah, judges would love to have you in the picture too. Yeah. Thanks, Kareem. All right, one more round of applause. You've been a fantastic audience tonight. Thank you for braving the cold. Check us out at montclairfilm.org. We got tons of classes, tons of events, lots of things for you to enjoy. Stay safe and get home warmly. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.